2 years ago now, I posted a quick video talking about drawing face proportions. I didn't feel there was much point in covering construction of the head as there are many different ways to do it, and there are already many videos covering that topic. So, rather than talking about what you should do in drawing the head, I think it'd be more efficient to cover what not to do in the form of the 5 most common mistakes that I see beginner artists make. Mistake numero uno: making the head too wide. It may be tempting to have the head fit inside of a square that's nearly even on all sides, but let's take a look at an actual skull first. I assume many of you are already aware that the skull can be thought of as a rectangular prism, but something important to consider is that the front and back planes of the head are noticeably thinner compared to the side planes. Drawing the head within a more elongated rectangle will ensure that the features don't end up too far apart. Mistake number 2. It's common practice to depict the bulk of the head as a simple circle, but all too often people will then slap the jaw underneath, leaving us with a very round forehead. It's true that the mass of the head is oval-shaped, but what a lot of beginner artists don't consider is that the forehead actually slants inwards slightly. The top of the skull is relatively flat, and then we can see a similar slant on the backside of the skull. By keeping these plane changes in mind, it becomes much easier to draw a convincing looking head. Mistake number 3. Making the cheeks too pronounced. Looking at the skull from a 3/4 angle, we can see that it does start to slope outwards at the cheekbone, but because there's no bone the rest of the way to the chin, and not a whole lot of muscle, the skin of the jaw actually slopes inward. Just something to keep in mind if your characters tend to look heavier than you'd like. This of course depends on how realistic of a style you're going for. Chibis, or very young characters for instance, will be intentionally drawn with puffy looking cheeks, but any character that's in their late teens or older will have very little fat in the face area, provided they're not overweight. Mistake number 4. Drawing the facial features at a different angle compared to the rest of the head. This is mostly relevant when drawing the head at a 3/4 angle. The closer the head is to a profile view, the more the features will overlap with the edge of the face, meaning everything will appear much closer together than you may expect. I even made this mistake myself in an example from my hair tutorial, and it's been bugging the shit out of me ever since. The way I drew the face was closer to a straight-on view, even though the rest of the head was at an obvious 3/4 angle, and I didn't notice this until after I had uploaded. So don't be like me, make sure those features are close together and don't be afraid to have them overlap with the cheek. Last but not least, final mistake of the day is not understanding how the neck connects to the jaw. From a 3/4 view, you might be able to get away with simply drawing a couple lines behind the jaw, but if you don't properly understand the anatomy of the neck, you're going to be in trouble as soon as you need to draw the head from the side or from a low angle looking up. From this 3D model, we can see a triangular-shaped plane underneath the jaw that inserts into the neck, which is made up of a few thin muscle groups. Also worth noting is how the Adam's apple causes the neck to slope outwards. By keeping this triangular plane and outward curvature in mind, we can draw a neck that looks a lot more solid. While we're looking at this profile view, I might as well throw in a couple other tips. If you have trouble with making the nose too long or placing the eye correctly relative to the nose, try imagining a rectangle connecting the corner of the eye with the tip of the nose. This will keep you from drawing them too far apart. Additionally, you may consider removing some of the jawline depending on the style you're going for. Anime artists, for instance, will often just imply the jaw through shadows. Removing the jawline may be useful in giving your characters a softer, more feminine look. And that about covers head drawing for the foreseeable future. Thanks for watching, and if you're cool, you'll go watch all of my other videos too.